from Nashville, Tennessee. It's the Three. And here's your host, Laura Harris-Smith.
Hi, everybody. I'm Laura Harris-Smith, and welcome to The Three. So glad that you are joining us today. And I know probably because of the amount of interviews that we've been bringing you from NRB, you think we've been in Orlando for 4 months. Well, we have not moved here. We've just gotten to meet some incredible media gatekeepers and artisans and just believers in Jesus who want to use their gifts in the media world for God. And last week, we brought you part one of our interview with Kim Deardorff. He's here with us again today. Kim, welcome back.
Thank you so much.
I have known you, and you've been knowing our family for years, heard about your extraordinary story, bits and pieces. But last week, you told us about the story of being found in a garbage can when you were an infant. You don't know when your birthday is, but it was assigned January 1 to you. And yeah, so then, my goodness, you then get to the adoption agency, you come to America, you're adopted by a family. That was in Korea, but you're adopted by a family in America who were not kind to you. They were not kind to you. And you had a mother who you even think was jealous of you because you just had so much joy from a very early age. So I'm curious if your sister, my viewers are going to wonder, since you brought her up last week.
Absolutely.
She's okay, she survived, she's your real sister.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So how did she factor into all that, and what's she doing today?
Well, I'm really thrilled to be able to say that we're in contact and we have a wonderful relationship. We don't get to see each other that often, but she left home right out of high school. She moved to Chicago. She met a really nice Hispanic guy, and she got married. I think they've been married for 35, 36 years. She has 2 children, and she just has a real solid family unit. And so it's just really happy. I'm so happy to be able to see her thrive despite the circumstances that she went through.
Well, what I want to do then, since some people may not have seen episode 1, I want to cut to that video. And I want for you to see, if you watched last week, it's going to be a recap for you. But I think with images and everything, it's going to be really compelling. This is Kim's story, how he was found, how his story began in Korea. Take a listen. We'll see you on the other side.
My name is Kim Deardorff, and this is my story. I was born in Seoul, South Korea in 1964. I was found in the garbage when I was just a few days old. I was taken to the Holt orphanage, and I spent the first several weeks of my life in a hospital where they thought I had something wrong with my eyes and they thought I might be blind. They gave me the birth date of January 1st since they didn't know when I was born. And this is the LA airport. This is the airport that all the parents gather to fly over to Korea to adopt their children. And here they're flying from LA to Seoul. And here they arrive in Korea. And everyone's excited about meeting the children for the first time. And this is my adoptive mother and my adopted sister, Kathy. And this is my adoptive father, and he was helping out at the orphanage. And during the week, they were shooting the story about the Holts. Harry Holt dies of a heart attack. And this man who devoted his life to saving others was gone. He devoted his life to saving children, and I am one of those he saved. And here we are at his funeral in Seoul. And this is another picture of my adopted mother and my sister Kathy. And after that emotional week, all the families are excited about returning back to America to start their new lives. And everyone has a story, and this is my story. And here I am, I'm 4 months old and I weigh 8 pounds, and I've been saved twice through the blood of Jesus Christ. And this is my life, and I wouldn't want any other.
Oh, Kim, that is just amazing. I mean, it's so compelling, the things that there is nobody who's watching right now who cannot agree that if God's hand is on your life, He will rescue you from anything. He will bring you out of the ashes and put you up on your feet in a solid place. So, guys, when we come back from the break, we're going to talk more with Kim. He has started a 501c3 for children. And again, if you know anybody who needs to hear this message, be encouraged by it, get them watching today. Would you do that? We'll be right back after the break.
Hi, I'm Laura Harris-Smith, inventor of Quiet Brain Essential Oil Blend. You know, if you would have told me 2 years ago when I was mixing that very first little bottle that we would have thousands of customers from all over the world and that we'd have to quadruple our staff to keep up with the demand produced by our international TV infomercial, I'm not sure I would have believed you. And if you told me I'd be hearing regular testimonies of improved sleep, reduced stress, migraine relief, even help with other neurological challenges like seizures, PTSD, tremors, muscle spasms, even anxiety, well, I probably would have cried. And sometimes when I'm reading a Quiet Brain testimony, I do. But if you would have told me 1 year ago when we introduced our Quiet Brain Variety Gift Box that it would become the biggest selling item on our online store at quietbrainoil.com, I would have said, I believe it. The reason is because I created the gift box to be the perfect combination of all of our Quiet Brain products. The oil itself for topical use on the skin that contains only certified pure oils that can cross the blood-brain barrier and bring speedy relief and neurological support. And our aromatherapy line with our Quiet Brain shampoo and conditioner, candles, inhalers, all of which use the nasal passages to gain direct access to the limbic brain, which is the emotional center of the brain. So whether you need to use Quiet Brain topically or aromatherapeutically, the Quiet Brain gift box has everything that you need. And now we've given our gift box an upgrade without increasing the price. It now comes with our satin Quiet Brain Sleep Eye Mask. Just put a few drops of oil on the nose guard and you're on your way to enjoying a good night's sleep. And it all comes packaged in a beautiful gift box and delivered to the destination of your choice or sent to you so you can use it for 7 different gifts or keep a few for yourself. When sold separately, the items in the box are $160, but you're getting it for $135. That's a $25 savings, meaning that you're getting the nasal inhaler and the shampoo and conditioner for free. The Quiet Brain gift box comes with 1 Whisper Quiet Nightlight diffuser with 16 color options and intermittent mist options, 1 dropper bottle of Quiet Brain, 1 Quiet Brain nasal inhaler, 1 Quiet Brain candle, the satin sleep eye mask, and your healing shampoo and conditioner. And remember, both are color safe, aloe enriched, paraben and sulfate free, loaded with wonderful ingredients like unscented coconut oil, olive oil, sugar beet betaine, and of course the Quiet Brain blend with its 8 essential oils like lavender, frankincense, myrrh, sandalwood, and more. We get repeated testimonies of both being used with great effectiveness during headaches for pain relief. So go to quietbrainoil.com to order. Quiet Brain is a great gift for any time of the year, but especially for seasons like these that bring additional stress. Give the gift of health and peace this year. Give the gift of Quiet Brain.
Hey guys, welcome back from the break. I'm Laura Harris-Smith. We're here telling you an extraordinary story today. It is the story of Kim Deardorff. He is an award-winning pianist. He goes all over the place speaking and rallying for children, adoptees, stories of, first of all, welcome back, Kim. Would you jump right in? I want to right now, as we tell the story, put the website up on the screen again. So give it to them one more time.
Sure, of course. It's mystorykim.com.
Okay.
mystorykim.com.
And what type things, if they were to invite you, would you come and speak and say?
I like to share my story because it gives people hope, it gives people encouragement, it allows people to find a way to connect with God and find their identity through Christ, about patience, about waiting, about hearing from God, how God communicates with you, how you communicate with God. I spent 11 years sitting in a room in my bedroom doing freelance production. For 11 years, I sat by myself in a room, basically, and I learned a lot about, in that isolated environment, how God communicates with me and how I can communicate with Him with nothing else going on. You learn a lot about yourself.
Yeah.
When you sit in a room for 11 years.
Yeah, that is and the whole precipice or the art of video editing is that you're alone. I mean, you're isolated.
Yeah, sure, a lot.
You know, and music as well, playing the piano, like you're practicing alone. So you described a time when you were 3 years old. And this piano, which I asked him last week, how did the piano even get into your house? We don't know, an angel pushed it in or something, but you found yourself able to escape, really, through piano. And you had it in your bedroom, and it was the bed and your piano and your little dresser, and you just, again, were alone. And the Lord just found you there. You said at 3 years old, you became aware of His presence in your life, and it gave you hope. So talk to us about that. There's somebody listening who has none. They have none of that. They're isolated. They may even be suicidal. What type thing would you say to them? It may be something similar that you want to invite Kim and he can come and speak and he can say these things, but what would you say to that person right now who is feeling those things?
I just want to say to them that God is real. I would literally cry myself to sleep every night thinking that things were so hard to just grasp emotionally. And I don't know, it was a supernatural presence of God. People say, how can you hear from God? What's the process of learning how you can hear from God? And I tell them, it was like when I learned a song off of a record.
Okay.
I would spend time listening and listening and listening and concentrating to that song. And after a while, I was able to listen so deeply that I could separate the different instruments in the song and just listen to one instrument line. And then I would find that one instrument line and I'd play that on the piano. And it's just like hearing from God. You just have to concentrate. You have to concentrate and filter out everything else. And eventually you'll see and hear God's presence and His voice.
That is so profound. I mean, that'll preach. That is the truth. And if you can drown everything else out. And so sometimes when we feel like we're isolated, it's just God getting us to that place.
It is. And you know, a lot of times you think if you're by yourself and you feel isolated, well, where is God? That's the most, precious time and environment for you to be with God.
Wow. Well, I don't consider my story as dramatic as yours, but I can tell you that it resonates with me because the encounter that I described last week, where I had a similar thing where the Holy Spirit I just suddenly became aware of the presence of the Lord. I was like 7 or 8 years old. I felt the same exact thing, and people have asked me before, how did you learn to hear the Lord? And I'm like, well, let me tell you about my childhood. And I was lonely and divorced, and my siblings went to live with my parents. And I think the best solution, if you really want to hear the Lord, is get alone with Him. So if you are alone, it's not always a bad thing. So isolation is not good. What we're trying to encourage you with today, if you're watching this and that's you, seek God. He's there with you. He is absolutely there with you. And so I just hope, Kim, that people will hear this message today of don't give up hope. God brought you here for a reason. He brought you out of a trash can, for a reason. and put you in this place where it's astonishing to me. Every time I see you, there's a smile on your face. So you, in your life, explain to me how, like, I want to get to Sherry. I want to talk about your wife, Sherry.
Have to do it.
You got to do that. But explain to me what happened, like, over your young adult life and how you got to that age where you finally got married. Because there was some interesting years in there that you did a lot of things.
Sure. So I finally left home the day after graduation. I went to 2.5 years of college. Couldn't really discover. I was so disjointed, and so I had no life skills. I had low self-esteem, and I was just struggling. And I saw my friends graduating, getting professional degrees, getting married, buying houses, and I just want to say, at 47, I didn't really give up on the idea of getting married, but I just kind of I was happy. I had friends, everything was okay.
Yeah.
And then I met Sherry. I was invited to speak at a small group at People's Church in Franklin.
Yes.
And she was there, and she came up to me, and we started talking, and I could see this presence and this light, and then just she has a smile too.
Yes, she does.
And I'm like, wait a second. We might want to spend some time together. As I called her up the next day, and 3 days later we went on our first date, and we were together from that day on. We were always together. We got married 2 months later. I'm 47, and this year.
You were then.
Yeah, 40. Yeah. And this is our 12th year anniversary this year. And what was amazing to me, when God moves, it doesn't take a lot of time. At 48, I buy my first house. I get married at 47. I inherit 3 children. I buy a house. I have kids. I have a job. I just automatically caught up with all my friends.
That is so amazing. In 1 year, right? That's the suddenly God that we serve. So that is quite an amazing story. All right. I think what we're going to do is I want to just take a minute and play a clip that we have of some more of your music. You're such a beautiful pianist, and you play with such emotion. This is a hymn that I love, Be Thou My Vision.
Sure.
So take a minute and just listen to Kim now on piano.
Aromatics Oil is a family of therapeutic-grade patented oil blends created by nutritionist and author Laura Harris Smith. Invented for her own lifelong journey for neurological health, Quiet Brain now helps those worldwide who suffer from insomnia, migraines, anxiety, seizures, tremors, and more. Quiet Brain contains oils like frankincense, myrrh, lavender, sandalwood, and others. Next, Happy Brain is a bright mood-lifting citrus blend and contains oils like lemon, lime, clementine, spearmint, and more. Users say it combats depression and even aids in weight loss. Next is Sharp Brain, Laura's Focus blend, also used to improve cognitive memory issues with oils like coffee, cinnamon, vanilla, clove, and others. Each $69.95 bottle is a 10-week supply if used daily, or about $1 a day. And right now, buy 2 bottles and get the third one free, and get a free eye mask using the promo code on your screen at neuromaticsoil.com or at 1-855-784-3827. That's 1-855-QUIET-BRAIN.
I'm naturopathic Dr. Laura Harris Smith, and if you'll give me 10 days, Give It to God and Go to Bed can help you stress less, sleep better, and dream more. There are even links inside to my free 10 Days to Deeper Sleep and Dreams program and 10 Goodnight videos.
Can you close your eyes and just still listen to me?
The whole book takes place in your bedroom, and with chapter titles like The Junk Under Your Bed, The Treasures in Your Bedroom, and The Monsters in Your Closet. Give It to God and Go to Bed helps you learn to rest and hear God speak in dreams. Take back your sleep and dreams, my friend, with Give It to God and Go to Bed.
Hey guys, welcome back to The Three. I'm Laura, and we are closing down an interview that we have with Kim Deardorff. If you've watched last week or this week even, and you've heard his incredible story about being found in a trash can outside in January in Korea, and then, wow, God rescuing him, but coming into an adoptive situation that was quite harmful. But you know what? The more I tell this story, the more I realize that we have no excuses to feel sorry for ourselves or to wallow in any kind of self-pity, because God will take care of us. And He took care of you, preserved your life, gave you these incredible giftings in the media. And what I think is amazing is, you know, you have to look at, well, God was not on vacation when this happened, you know?
Never.
And so I
Never.
love it about you that you turned your gifts, you turned your trials into triumphs. The way that you play piano, and we went into the last break hearing his music, is so emotive. Tell us, first of all, what came of that? You've had some incredible offers. And something happened with a piano endorsement, or what was that? Like, this is the part that really astounds me.
Okay, in 2009, my story was featured on the largest Christian concert tour in the world, the Winter Jam Tour.
Winter Jam.
At the end of the tour, I was invited back on tour. I was also offered a director position at Holt International to reach out to adult adoptees. And I felt like, I mean, I'd heard God's voice and leading in my life so many times, and I prayed, and He was telling me to not take either one of those, and I couldn't believe it at the time. About 2 weeks later, I'm getting off the Winter Jam Tour. I got invited to speak at a small Sunday service, probably 25 people. And I had 5 minutes to share a little bit of my story. I played one song. 2 days later, I get a call from this guy. He works at Kawai Pianos. They're one of the largest piano manufacturers in the world. He said, you know, I was thinking, I heard your story on Sunday morning, and I think you'd be great to be represent Kawai Pianos. And I couldn't even believe this. I mean, I'm a self-taught. I'm not really educated. I've taken some lessons, but
wow.
I mean, that was just a dream just to hear that. He says, you might get a call from one of our vice presidents in the next couple of days.
That is astounding.
I got a call the next 2 days later from a VP at Kawai Pianos. He says, I just have two questions for you. We're doing an app, you know, for this application process. I just need to know if you have a tour manager and what your tour schedule is. I'm just independent. I don't have a tour manager or a tour schedule. And I thought, well, there goes my dream of being a Kawai artist, because I don't have the two requirements that he's asking for. I said, Tom, I can only go where God leads. I can only go where God opens up the opportunity. I said, it might be in front of 20,000 people. It might be in front of 20 people. And I don't know when or how that, you know, how that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I hung up the phone. I said, well, that's it. I'm not going to represent Kawai. A month later, I checked back with him. I said, Tom, how did the application process go? He goes, oh, you've been approved. It went through 3 vice presidents or a president's approval. And we're adding you today as the 26th international Kawai piano artist. And he put an article up on their company webpage, and it says Kim Deardorff, inspirational artist. You don't have to have all these world accolades and all this education. You just have to be faithful to follow God's leading in your life.
He has made beauty from the ashes of your life. Nobody who knows you, you don't major in this minor, although I think we would all agree that it could have been the major story of your life. It is a major story, but it could have been the major downfall and crippled you, and you chose to not let it. But those who don't know you wouldn't even know this happened. Every time I see you, you have a smile on your face.
You know, when you go where God leads you, all kinds of opportunities happen.
Oh my goodness.
You just have to be willing and available. I think that's the key.
That is the key.
And most people are afraid of when God directs you somewhere. I kind of believe it's for me, maybe, but I kind of think this is universal, that when God asks you to do something, He addresses one of your greatest fears.
Oh, because then you need Him.
Well, because then He can show His faithfulness and His power and His strength.
Right. That is so very powerful. Okay, I'm just going to tell you, we both love Jude, my son Jude, and Jude and Kim have worked together. This reminds me of one time Jude went into a piano competition, and he's a kid, and he winds up playing and placing second place, and he did it all by ear. And I went up to the judges afterwards and I said, you know, I probably should have been honest and told you he didn't learn any of this from sheet music. And they said, we wish you would have told us. He would have gotten first place. So it just, on a much smaller scale, like it reminded me sometimes when we think we're lesser than, or I think they call it imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Like, why am I here? I don't deserve to be here. When truthfully, it's that God puts you somewhere. He put his gift within you, and everybody will recognize it. Everybody will be encouraged by it. Kim, I want you to just, if you would, take your camera, talk to that person who they need to know exactly why there's hope. They may not even know Christ, but they're watching today and it's not by mistake. Can you just encourage them?
I would just like to say from my own personal experience, and I say this a lot, your own personal story is the most powerful thing that you possess. And from my own personal story, from the grace of God, he reached down into my life and he allowed me to experience the love of Christ. And I just invite you to just ask God for his presence and allow him to show you his faithfulness and his beauty and his love, and just allow him to wrap his arms around you.
Amen. That is so good. All right. Well, give us the website one more time. I want them to hear it 10 more times if you want to. What is it?
Okay, it's mystorykim.com.
Okay. And you need to get Kim to come to your event. There are people you know who need to hear this message, even if they're not an adoptee, even if they weren't found, you know, in a garbage can. Listen, we all deal with rejections, abandonments, fears, and so much more that cripple us and prevent us from moving forward in life. And it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. I don't know who your mother was and why she felt the need. You know, who knows what fears she was in and had to get away from or escape from or whatever. But we bless the day that you were born. We bless her for the fact that, you know, she didn't do the alternative, which is to abort you. And I mean, that's a whole other show, isn't it? So, and you may not know when your birthday is, and I don't think you know this, but today's my birthday. So I share it with you. And so whenever you're you can share your birthday with me today. How about that?
Happy birthday.
But anyway, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming to the Three.
Thank you for inviting me.
And I really do hope that people will reach out to you. I know you'll reach back.
Yes,
He'll go anywhere. He'll do anything that's needed. I believe that you have a message that transcends every other message, because everyone needs hope, don't they, these days? All right. Well, Kim, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Another great episode of The Three. I'm Laura Harris-Smith. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.